but just talking to him in chat right now on our Discord thread. But let me bring in Nazar real quick, and I'll gas him up and give you guys a little background on him. Nazar, you there, man? There you are. Hell yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Nazar.
Hell yeah, man. Good to see you.
Hey, Andrew.
What's up, man? Hey, listen, this is awesome for me I can't wait to meet you. I think you have had our back, man, since day one. Listen, Eddie, these guys are across everything in the live streaming landscape. Every time I think I know every platform that's out there, these guys surprise me with another one, right? I think these guys track everyone from Nemo to Chiswick to Africa TV to obviously Twitch and YouTube and all that stuff. But these guys don't play any games. They straight up tell it how it is. Mad respect for that. These guys came from esports charts, which tracks a lot of esports statistics. And then they crossed over into like more traditional live streaming and things of that nature, right? So just want to say, like, this guy Nazar, as the product manager over at Stream Charts, has been nothing but like on the level, right? Equal. Like, he tells us when we suck. He tells us when we're doing well. He's just a wealth of knowledge, and he's Ukrainian, right? This team is Ukrainian, so there is zero fluff. There is zero like hand-holding in some of this stuff, and I really, really love doing business that way because he's just cut and dry. He gets to the point, and they give balanced reporting across all streaming platforms, which really gives us a really good picture of the live streaming space. But listen, I'm going to kick it over to Nazar, man, and Nazar, let me know if I'm even pronouncing that right, man, because my Ukrainian is scuffed. And I just want to make sure that that I'm getting your name out there right, man.
Yeah, it's totally fine. You are too kind. It's actually Nazar. So, but Nazar is also okay. So I'm okay with that since when we are working with some American friends, American partners, they have different pronunciation problems. But yeah, it's totally okay.
Hey, Nazar, sorry, Nazar, right?
Yeah,
Nazar
is the correct way in all possible scenarios.
Hey, just real quickly, a few questions from my side before I hand it all over to you. As Andrew just mentioned, obviously you came from tracking sort of esports with esports charts. What kind of paved the way for you and your kind of move towards the creation and now the massive success of streams charts? Like what was that transition like?
Yeah, actually, like eSport Charts is our another standalone product. It was founded back in 2016, since our founders have been involved in esports scene, and it was rapidly growing. But reliable data to measure that growth was lacking. We quickly understand that we need to do it. We need to do something. It all started with different esports events, starting with League of Legends World Championship back in 2016. And then founders understand that we need to develop ways to analyze and combine multiple streams, since eventually we're covering billions of streams over 25 platforms. And in 2020, StreamShark came out. So we already gathering extensive data on the esports market, and esports is just one part of the live streaming landscape. That's why we decided to launch StreamShark, to make sure that everyone will see the whole viewership of the live streaming market, especially when it comes not only to some Western platforms, like for example Twitch, YouTube, Kick, etc., but also some like regional-based platforms like Africa TV, who broadcasted in the Korean market, Nemo TV, who is more popular in the Indonesia, and all other platforms that actually exist in the live streaming. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it's incredible the way it's been put together has, been absolutely awesome because, like you mentioned, I think previously a lot of times people would kind of look at streamers and they'd look at them on an individual platform, whether it's even YouTube or whether it was, Twitch. But obviously there's far more platforms out there, right? There is far more going on in terms of creators, and it allows everyone that ability to kind of almost compare and rank them as see fit, right? And I think it's the future because you guys are, like, from what I understand, the only ones combining all this data together and allowing people to get a holistic view of what the actual streaming landscape looks like. There's obviously tools which track individual platforms, but the way it kind of works and the way you display that data is incredible. And I truly think it is the future in terms of being the one and only tool that people are going to end up using for accurately understanding the standing of where people are and where platforms are as well in terms of the broader landscape. So me personally, a huge fan since I found you guys. But on that note, quickly, because you guys jumped on Kick real quickly, like, when did you guys know that Kick was like a potential contender in the live streaming phase? Because you guys are fast. Like, you guys picked us up real quick. Like, we're talking like way before there was even like, several thousand viewers. Like, I was like, whoa, these guys are on the ball. Like you picked it up quick. Like, what made you go like, we need to integrate Kick and start tracking them?
Yeah, it's actually the main point was always to react for some trends. When we saw that kicking off, like in terms of it was fourth quarter of 2022, and we started to track all your data since December, I believe, 2022.
Yep.
And in terms of understanding the moment, it's not about a single moment here, because in previous years there have been several platforms who have talked a lot about their plans, breaking sharply into the competition and the live streaming landscape in general, but over time they lacked development quality, didn't listen to the community, either shut down or the metrics was plumbed. Mixer is a good example, actually. They have everything in terms of developing, but something went wrong with them. So Kick overtook other non-giant platforms besides Twitch and YouTube. For the first time, it was like fourth quarter of 2023. And throughout 2024, the platform made a series of decisions that allowed to continue to grow. And now we see that you are here to stay for a long time ahead. I believe in it. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think, I was actually checking out the Kick streams charts statistics earlier this morning, actually, and just quickly looking at the graph from what you guys have tracked, right? And like, if you look at the graph, right, like it's just like on this steady sort of increase almost, ever since like early 2023. Hold on, did you put a stream up right now? Is that? Yeah, Andrew's got the stream up here. Hold on, let's take a look here. I'm trying to connect to it right now. So most watched smaller streaming platforms coming in at 604.82 million hours watched in Q3. That's pretty impressive if you think about it.
Yeah, for sure. So this is a screen from our regular quarterly live streaming landscape report. It's a public version, so we do a lot of reports actually in terms of public. And if you're talking about like smaller streaming platforms, because we have two major giant platforms like YouTube and Twitch, but in terms of smaller platforms, you guys doing really great in terms of overtaking all other stuff, all other platforms. And for example, just in the past quarter, you're recording significant watch time growth of 12 and 12.8%, I believe, and passing the 200 million hours watch milestone, which is pretty impressive when you think that the platform exists only for second year, actually. Also, the platform didn't reach the peaks of the second quarter because you have non-million viewer peaks like in the second quarter, but you steady growth in overall watch time with streamers like Eddie and XQC continue to drive large audience, but you also have some Arabic streamers You have some MENA streamers from the Latin America also streamers that doing pretty great. And this strategy, establishing a global presence, especially when it comes to the MENA and Latin America, is something that help you to drive some numbers like for the past quarter, actually. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think our continued investment, especially you mentioned that MENA region, obviously Turkey and Latin America have been one of the best decisions we've made. Tapping into those communities, they're incredibly loyal, they're incredibly excited about Kick, and it's been rapid expansion. Andrew, just quickly, if you jump over to the other page, this is the report, but there's a really great page. If you go to platforms, you can scroll up there. Oh, well, you're on the reports. Yeah, scroll up. Go to platforms at the top there. Platforms, scroll up. Yep, you can go Kick. Yeah, there we go. And then go to, so we've got 2,030. But you take a look at their average concurrent viewers in the last 7 days. This says something to me. On the back of what we just discussed around DreamHack, take a look at that. The average concurrent viewers in the last 7 days, 394,000, up 62,000 in the last week. That's a record, actually. That's a huge, huge number, representing by far the largest amount of concurrent average viewers in the last 7 days Kick has ever seen. Definitely on the back of some, really large streams recently. If you scroll down again, Andrew, quickly, this graph here is one that I find most interesting. If you scroll down a bit further. Here we go. If you now just get rid of peak viewers, remove peak viewers. Just click peak viewers at the bottom there on the graph. No, to the right.
Below.
Yeah, click on peak viewers, remove peak viewers. There we go. So that's actually the graph of Kick's average viewership there. If you take a look at that and you just kind of scroll the numbers across, you can see that the growth there is steady as ever, which is just incredible. Again, guys, this is Nazar's this is Streams Charts data that they've been tracking this whole time, and it's all third-party data which is accumulated through tracking every single individual channel on Kick. But it's incredibly insightful, and it just goes to show this continuous growth. Most importantly, compared to other platforms as well, Kick continues to grow, whilst other platforms are kind of either started declining or actually stagnating. So, just continues to show this continued dominance in the market. Again, only, little under 2 years since Kick's come to fruition, and looking forward to seeing absolute record numbers in October. As we can see, October's already looking incredible. If you just like pull out that existing number there. Yeah, it's looking like
it's only the start of the month, but still impressive.
Yeah. This is, again, the data here is great. I obviously, just like anyone in business, using data points is incredible, and getting caught up in the numbers is great. But yeah, I guess compared to what you've seen on Streams Chart, you guys have been tracking platforms for a long time. What does the last 18 months for Kick look like, and what do you think the future holds for us, Nazar?
It's actually quite impressive, actually. If we are talking about past year, as I told, the 2024 shows that Kick is here to stay. Kick is here to doing some right things. And for example, the past quarter highlights like a critical shift in the live streaming landscape, where platforms that adapt to the regional dynamics and evolving viewer preferences are outpassing those who rely on traditional strategies. Because, for example, just from this pie chart that Andrew sharing, we see that YouTube dropped its industry share by 4%. At the same time, Kick and Africa TV were two fastest growing non-giant platforms, with Kick increasing its share by 0.6% and Africa TV by 0.8%. And these things show that that platforms that leveraging regional engagement can achieve sustainable growth, because the clear message that engagement is the key And the clear message for the industry is that diversification and audience-specific content strategies, for example, like you do with MENA, like Africa do with the Korean market, are now non-negotiable for long-term success. But there are like other negative sides of this. For example, what we see from our comments in social media, some like other regions, like for example, Kik was more orientated, like 1 year ago, you were more orientated for the English-speaking community. Now your Spanish-speaking community, increased to around quarter of the watch time of the platform. What you guys think about like negative reaction from the English-speaking community, what you want to do in the future? Maybe you have some insights about that, so you can like make more clear for the English-speaking community that they are still on the board, they are still here. So something like this, yeah.
Yeah, on that note, I think the last so the very very early days of Kick, right? I think we immediately were like, all right, English market is what we understand. We have a lot of great connections there. Whether that was the likes of XQC and Trainwrecks and a lot of those big names that came on board early on. But then, as time went on, we're like, hold on a second, there's the rest of the world out there. And we kind of said, okay, we'll leave the English market for a bit. It's doing really, really well. We'll just hold off because things were starting to get a bit competitive there. It was starting to get a bit heated. And we're like, we'll go focus on Turkey. And, straight off the bat, we brought off the whole Turkish community to Kick. I think Kick now has about 80% dominance in terms of the Turkish market. And we're like, all right, let's head over to Latin America. We headed over there and did the same. Same with the MENA region as well. So I think, in Spain, Spanish-speaking markets, Kick currently has about a 36% dominance in live streaming first platforms. We typically tend to leave YouTube out of it because YouTube's not really that live streaming first sort of mentality. Obviously, big live streaming, but 36% on that Spanish speaking and 80% on MENA and on Turkish, which would be great. But now as of about 2 months ago, our focus is completely back onto English speaking market, right? It's that's the goal again, is now to have a real clear run at trying to potentially do the same thing that has been done in those other regions, but again for English. I think English is, at the end of the day, whilst other languages are incredibly important, English certainly does seem to be the driving force behind who remains dominant in the overall market. A lot of the world, English is the most spoken language, I guess, across all regions. So establishing a foothold there and continuing to grow there is incredibly important. So from our side, I put a tweet out about this maybe a few months ago or a few weeks ago, actually, kind of, talking about how we're going to continue to invest more in ensuring that we remain really competitive on the English speaking side. Again, that doesn't detract at all from our efforts in some of these other regions we're talking about. I don't want to even begin to mention that. But the fact that we aren't giving up on the English market either. I think it's, live streaming is great. It's global, right? Global communities of all types of cultures, all different, geographies, all different languages, right? That's what makes a streaming platform truly successful, we believe, is bringing across all different regions. So, we never want to be known as, hey, look, this place is only for English speaking, this place is only for Spanish speaking. We'll be known as the global streaming platform. So that's always going to be our goal. But again, understanding that remaining very centric around that English language is going to be incredibly important. So that's, something that we're going to continue to reiterate as we, move forward. That's for sure.
The other thing, sorry, Nazar, like the other thing is it's forcing us to come up with new ways to connect these audiences, right? Like we've also talked internally about like, high levels of like interpretation. So that way, if we have someone in Latin America who's in the States, they can easily cross over into the larger Latin American pool, right? There's a lot of great French streamers, like Hard Disk comes to mind, who entertain the audience really, really well. To have tools that, if they want to, they can cross over into the English side and have the tools that they need to interpret chat, to interpret a live stream, or to get a closed caption things up there. My whole point in saying that is to drive home what Eddie is saying, is that technology is making the world a lot smaller. It's making folks connect a lot more. I think the things that like the Kings League does in the space really has started to bridge a lot of the global gap. And then the faster the technology gets on mobile and Starlink that's out there, I mean, I think we're making smart moves in saying, hey, look, like, we're a global audience. Yes, English speaking is very, very important, and all of our products launch from the English speaking side. So the English side is definitely leading this charge.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I love the idea about being a global presence. What do you guys actually think about like the Asian markets? Because you have some success with the MENA and you have some success with the Latin America. But when we are talking about Asian markets, as I mentioned, there are a few good players in terms of Africa TV in the Korea. They launched a new platform called Soup that have a good presence in the Thailand, in Thai market. We have also Nimo TV in the Indonesia. So do you have some ideas for the future regarding Asian markets and Asian language speaking countries?
Yeah, that's a great point. So we actually just on my stream previous to this had a couple of kick streamers on who are really big in the Filipino region. So we've seen a lot of success in the Philippines recently, which has been really great. From our understanding, the markets in Asia are a little bit different, and the products especially. If you obviously look at sort of Nemo, if you look at some of the even Chinese first streaming platforms, they're a little bit different to what you expect and what you see on, say, YouTube or Twitch or some of the other platforms. So I think, we definitely need to adapt the product a little bit to be able to appeal to those audience. We feel, I think what their expectations for live streaming is a little bit different to some of the some of those other regions you mentioned, like Latin America, I think are very accustomed to what Kick's product is. Same with, Turkey, same with MENA. But, at the same time, I think there's a lot of opportunity out there. Obviously, South Korea was one that we really wanted to enter. We haven't had as much luck there recently, but, we certainly want to give that a crack. We know that, unfortunately, Twitch exited that market, right? And when they did that, we're like, all right, we'll be more than happy to pick that up and give it a crack. But Chiswick, of course, is doing a great job there, right? They've done a really good job at filling that gap, and massive props to them. Incredible product that they've built. Obviously, very well designed, very functional on the back of their sort of bigger brand out there in South Korea. So, Asia, of course, is, I think, probably one of the largest markets out there for live streaming right now. And, not getting amongst that would be sleeping on one of the biggest opportunities that we possibly have. But, breaking into that market and getting traction there is definitely going to be a little bit more difficult, I must say. Very different culture, very different expectations from the market there. Even stuff like payments, right? Completely different in terms of what they expect for making seamless payments that we need to adapt to. But again, I think we're going to be able to definitely give it a red hot crack. When you mentioned Thailand, for example, I think Thailand's something we've been looking into very briefly. I think we could definitely pick up a lot of steam there with the right offerings. So, I don't know. We'll see. I think for now, the focus remains on the English-speaking market for the near to medium-term future. But at some point, we'll continue to make our way throughout the globe. That's the plan,
Hey, just a heads up, we got about 5-10 more minutes before we start bringing in Rod. So just want to be conscious of time, just to give you a heads up.
Okay. Thanks for backing for this slide. So what I actually also have in my mind, I believe that we probably the only ones reporting on full YouTube live numbers instead of reporting about only YouTube gaming, because I'm sure that this gives a full picture of the live streaming landscape for the industry. Since YouTube is far ahead more than just gaming, like every other platforms, like Andrew mentioned, Kings League, it's non-gaming content and it's pretty quality content. So in terms of your strategies, I'm wondering what you think about YouTube's competition, because here we see that this is the biggest player on the market with non-gaming content especially, and everybody just saying like Quick versus Twitch versus Kick. But if we are not just talking about gaming content, is YouTube Live who's the biggest one? Is there something about what YouTube does in terms of live streaming that inspires you to work with Kick? So yeah.
I think it's a great point, because YouTube is sometimes forgotten as a player in the live streaming market, right? At the end of the day, they are the biggest. They are huge. They dwarf, even Twitch in terms of viewer hours. I think YouTube has a bit of a different strategy though, right? It isn't really a streaming first platform, right? Obviously YouTube is video on demand first, and then live streams are kind of like a trickle down effect. So I think the audience you end up attracting is very different. You've typically got people who are creating videos on demand and uploading, VODs, and then subsequently they sometimes go live, or they use their channels to help, for example, stream an individual event. It's very different communities is what we find. Very different demographics of viewership, but most importantly, very different demographics of streamers. People who go to YouTube typically aren't sort of a streaming first community. But again, I think what they've done is incredible, right? YouTube is on a scale of its own, a level of its own. It's one of the most visited websites in the world, full stop. So again, I think trying to adopt as much as possible from YouTube is great, but at the same time, I think YouTube loses a lot of that community on the back of how they operate as a website. They're catering to everything, video. They're catering to the whole lot. And, as a result of that, I think you lose a lot of that kind of community that, for example, Twitch has built, right? I think Twitch has done a great job at fostering such a close community where every streamer, everyone, because it's a streaming first platform. Streaming is what it's all about. And that's the same for Kick, right? Kick is a streaming first platform, and subsequently you create a very tight-knit streaming community. I think YouTube's gone down a different avenue, which have kind of lost that touch. But on the back of it, though, they've just become huge, fucking crazy big, right? Insanely big, which is props to them. But again, I think it comes down to product offering. I think it's a very different product and subsequently a different demographic. What we can learn from YouTube, though, I think there's a lot of takeaways from it. I think if Kick did want to go down an alternative path and start leaning into video on demand and leaning into a different sort of demographic of audience, I think YouTube has certainly cracked the code. But I do believe that it is at this point in time not a path we want to go down. I think fostering that live streaming community is certainly our goal. Making sure that we are going to remain streaming first will always be Kick's center goal. But at the same time, I think YouTube has some incredible product features too. I think just they've got, of course, 2K and 4K streaming available. I believe they've got the rewind feature, which is great. People love that. I think they're lacking a little bit in terms of their chat functionality. They still haven't managed to nail that down, I don't think. I think they're sort of their community in terms of sort of gifting and donations doesn't seem to be quite as strong as, say, Kick or Twitch. But I think they've just done a great job at piercing pretty much the whole entire globe. Everyone knows YouTube, right? It doesn't matter whether you're into live streaming or not. Like you probably watched a live stream on YouTube just due to that sheer number that they've got. But yeah, I think we've got a lot to learn from all platforms. We're fortunate to have these huge successes to look up to and go, hold on, what are they doing right? What can we do to attract that audience? And we constantly kind of do our market research and try to understand why YouTube's here, why Twitch is here, why Africa is here, why is all these other platforms, what are they doing right, and derive inspiration from them, which has been great. But yeah, to answer your question, I think for now we mainly focus towards the live streaming first platforms because that's how we position ourselves.
Yeah, thanks for that. And actually, from my perspective, one of the main features for YouTube when they come to their success is the recommendation system, because when you are coming to YouTube, the recommendation system that they have is something that pretty outstanding, actually. But also what other stuff come to my mind is You mentioned some like product features that they have. Twitch also have some other product features for streamers, for viewers, etc. What do you think about development of some like engagement tools for viewers, first of all? Because, for example, engagement tools is something that keeps the audience on the platform. So like polls, hype trains, Twitch example, roses like TikTok example. Some Chinese platform, they are just with all about engagement through the chat. So what you guys thinking about engagement tools like the future for the Kick, for the viewers especially? Do you have some maybe insights on that part?
Yeah, from our side, everything on the product roadmap right now is really about trying to enhance that viewer experience. And viewer experience is all determined. Like the key performance indicator on that side is engagement and retention, right, of viewers. And that's right now 100% the only goal of Kick from a product perspective, at least in a technological advancement perspective. Building out more tools, whether that be channel points, whether that be, kicks, whether that be, predictions on the back of channel points, whether it be how we, simply derive our application level and customer experience level through our applications and coverage we have across devices, building out that layer for the viewer and subsequently retaining them is by far the most important metric. Right now, of course, I like to say that we offer a really competitive opportunity for streamers, right? 95.5, KCIP, weekly payments, the list goes on. In terms of for streamers, we have a really competitive offering, and I think it's a no-brainer in terms of if people are looking to get into live streaming and they're a live streamer, that Kick's the place to go. But we do recognize where we have to do better, and that's on that retention layer. That's on that viewer retention layer. That's on the what we need to do to ensure people don't just come to Kick and watch one live stream, but they come to Kick, watch many, many live streams, and they watch longer. We got three sort of main pillars at the moment when we talk about the Kick product. It's we need to ensure that people watch more live streams, they need to watch longer, and there's more to watch. They're the three things we're pushing forward and every single update we do from a product perspective, and that all leans into creating a better viewer experience and better retention, and subsequently that works out better for the streamer too, right? Because their audiences, they stick around longer, and they do more, right? And on the back of what you mentioned before, the recommendations, right? That's huge, right? Being able to make sure that when people come to Kick, they're recommended the right live streams, they're recommended the best content that's best suited to them. That really falls under that category of, watch more, right? We want viewers to come to Kick and we want them to watch more streams, more other streamers as well. And cross-pollinating audiences is going to be really important for ensuring that, somebody comes here and say, watches, comeback stream, but then they see Crayon live and they've got a good, overlap there, and they see Big E, so they're going to go to Big E. So we're going to make sure we start to understand which streamer we, recommend based upon all these analytics that we currently have. And again, that's something we're working on, really, really heavily in the background, and, taking a lot of inspiration from YouTube especially. I think YouTube does an incredible job with that. They are the kings of retention. They're the kings of recommendations. They have got that down to a T, and nobody can do a better job than them. So, a lot of that inspiration is derived from them specifically.
Yeah, thanks for your answer. That's a good point.
We're getting there, though. We're working on it. And, again, we're going to keep checking back on streams charts, and, whether it's comparing just our individual streamers and how they're doing against some of the other guys, or, Kick as a whole entire platform. I think it's, you've really gamified the whole streaming sort of atmosphere almost. It's, it's great for just, for not just streamers, but platforms alike to be able there and really to compare everything. Guys, if you haven't already signed up for streams charts, make sure you check it out. Don't forget there's an S us to stream. That confuses a few people. Stream S charts. They've got all the data across all the platforms. Like nobody is doing what they're doing in terms of looking into like the deep dive of analytics, in terms of how you can do better as a data is power, right? Data and the knowledge that comes with it really helps you to understand how to do better, what's working from a content perspective. If you're a live streamer, utilizing some of that opportunity there is really incredible. Couldn't recommend it more. Make sure you check it out and utilize all that information. Again, there's so much to gain from that, even from seeing what's working for other streamers, who's up and coming. Again, there's so much information to gain from there. So don't sleep on it at all. Streamscharts.com.
Thanks for that. You're too kind.
Yeah, we got it pinned up there. And just one other props I want to give to you is 2 points real quick. The algorithm battle that's going on between YouTube Shorts and TikTok. Everyone who's on KCIP should be taking advantage of that, because we do allow you to multi-stream to TikTok and to YouTube Shorts. They are throwing algorithms at you guys, all right? And if you are able to wield and take advantage of that for your KCIP, it's absolutely amazing. YouTube Shorts just launched like 3-minute VODs, which is driving even more traffic to their live streams. So just keep track of that, right? And then the other thing I want to say about Stream Charts is they saved our ass in the early days. I mean, big time in the early days, where we had all the internal numbers, right? But we were still working on like presenting them on our dashboards as we were building. And a lot of our streamers very early on went to Stream Charts to track their progress in order to get verified or to get their affiliation and all those things. So mad props to Stream Charts to kind of opening themselves up to the Kit community so early on, where I had a lot of conversations with other platforms and they were just kind of like, pay us gobs and gobs of money and we'll see if you're around for the next 3 months. And the thing is that you guys came in and you did it for the community, and we really appreciate that, man. And we really value this relationship, man.
Thanks for that. It's two kind words. Yeah, the community is the key, actually, because if we see some trends that can benefit the community, it's important to us to react on it. So when we see that the key community is growing as much as it's growing with every month, that's the point. Similar to all other platforms, so we do a lot of stuff across all platforms that we have, like Asian market and non-Asian market, also Western platforms. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Thanks for being with us, man.
Awesome.
Thanks for inviting.
Thanks heaps. Really appreciate you coming on as well. We, again, as echoing what Andrew said, all your support means a ton, and we'll be in touch shortly. I know we communicate quite regularly, so appreciate all the help out there, man.
Thank you, and have a nice rest of the episode with Rod.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
See ya.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, big shout out to the guys there. They're I must say their product and what they put together as well is so awesome. They move quickly too. Like just watching Streams Charts and the leaps and bounds they've made from a product offering. Like they are by far the best analytics website out there now. You know, there's been websites that have been around for like 10 years or so, and they're not even touching on some of the data points and capturing some of the analysis that these guys are doing. I love their write-ups as well. They do great write-ups. They do great analysis on all platforms, on all streamers. They break it down by male, female categories, the whole lot. You know, some of that data that they put together, even if they post on X as well, is really great. So, I can't shout them out enough. They're just great guys, so easy to work with. And the fact that they got behind Kick so early on, supported us at such an early time was incredible too. So anyway, that's enough gassing them up. You guys know where to find them.
Yeah, man. Do you remember that they came out with like a complete tracker for the first class, right?
Yeah.
When we announced the first class, they launched it. So yeah, they pay attention and they totally support us, which is amazing. But at the same time, they do keep us in check, right? They keep us humble. But look, I think the moment everyone's been waiting for, man, is